As families grow, their home needs change. If you need to make some improvements to your home, West Tennessee Bank can help. Our home improvement loans are designed to help you live more comfortably. West Tennessee Bank, a division of Decatur County Bank. We think you'll like us. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
First item on the agenda are the minutes. Are there any corrections or amendments to the minutes?
Larger communities in the county, and she finally got every day on this. So there was everything from flowers to kids' diapers, adult diapers.
Needles.
I mean, there was 2 sacks of county everything out there. You know, just piles of it. You kind of get a lot of stuff in there, and of course that goes off the line, and we have to send it to the landfill. So we have always tried to recycle bags, but the market now, with China not purchasing any recycling at all, there's no market for recycled bags. So we're having to let them go off the line. And that being said, with a new piece of equipment, which is a disc screen with, I think it's about 800 discs on it, round, and they pick the paper up, and most of them made to pull the paper off. So if the bags get in there and get wrapped around it, then you're constantly going to have to stop and take it off. So most places are not taking bags anymore. There's just not a market for it right now. So.
What about your glass? I'm sorry.
That's what they do.
What about your glass? I know you made mulch from that. Can we still
Drop it
run
off at our 5
And we
facilities.
will still take it out.
And we have a glass bin with the sign that says glass, and then we still crush it and give it away to residents for free.
What about, like computer screens and things like that?
We still recycle
We still take all that.
Just not in the blue bag bin.
But we do give them in blue bags. I was standing yesterday and a whole big battery fell off. I mean, I don't know why you put it in a blue bag, but it was. But we'll still take all that. That's no problem. And the glass, we have drop-off centers at the 5 places in the county. We had rather put it there because our glass crusher takes full bottles. Right now, when you put it in a blue bag and we dump it on the floor, it gets crushed some in the truck. And then we've got skid loaders that's pushing it up, and they're constantly running over those bags. By the time it gets to the sort line, all it is a lot of crushed glass that we have to let go off. And glass is real heavy, so it needs to be pulled out.
You talk about that, you're talking about the grocery bag, you don't want any of those.
You can take those back to the retailer, Target, Walmart, and Lowe's, recycle those plastic bags.
I know it's gonna be hard to get those out, because probably 25% of what's in those bags is bags, but it's just,
The reason I asked that, the legislature's on the push to put it where communities can't outlaw.
you know, a lot of states eliminated bags completely.
Our legislature, I read the other day, are wanting you to not be able, communities like us, not to be able to tell the retailers they can't use it. Has anybody, do they know what's going on with that?
Yeah, they do. There's a lot of, I spend a lot of time in Nashville on that. But you have so many groups for it, so many groups. It depends on how big a group you are, or how much.
There was a lot
The
of.
lobbies, yeah.
There's a lot of lobbies, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We took a vacation the other day, went out to Nevada. There's no plastic straws left, all the straws are wood out there. You get a straw to drink,
Yeah.
they're all wood straws, kind of weird. Try to break out the wooden straws, because they eliminated plastic straws. So there's a lot of legislation that's changing, but most of the equipment we put in is to increase the volume of materials that we do. And some of the things like the plastic bags is one thing we need to take out. Now, we'll pull everything out front if we can. We know we're gonna get them through there, so we'll pull them out before they go through that. But that being said, if they're not in there in the first place. Of course, right now with the blue bags, we have a machine we've made out there that has teeth on it that tears the bags open, which it works great. But they all wrap around there, and eventually you gotta stop it and cut them off. So with these carts here, we're eliminating that blue bag, and it'll be easy, just to dump them in there, and we won't have to worry about those bags either.
Will
We
the
know it's
schedule still be the same every 2 weeks?
So Mr. Bobby is going to do zones. There'll be a zone 1 and zone 2. We will roll out those tags, the blue tag. There'll be a zone 1 tag for zone 1 and zone 2, and then you'll have your pickup days listed on it, so hopefully it'll stop some of the confusion. I think-
You'll be every other Friday. You'll be every 2 weeks, but we'll be running around, we divided the city into half. And the reason why, simply the reason why, I think Danny and I talked about when we first started this program, we got up to so many numbers, we're gonna have to do that anyway. But this process, it might be a little slower, this process of doing the camp, we don't know until we do it. And it just seemed like this was the time to do all this at one time, and so we're gonna do that, we'll issue the cans. What we'll do is we'll issue cans, we'll have their tag, they'll have their pickup dates for the rest of the year, and we'll do it that way. But we'll have 2 zones, and kind of split the town, really the town's getting kind of split right down North Avenue and White. And,
I think Amber's had 10 this week.
that, and we get emails too.
Take the extra mile.
How many do you have now?
We're right at, we're a little bit over, we're around 400 right now. Around 400, we're getting some more. And I think, when we do the first rollout, from what Amber, Carlisle was talking, we realize that when we do the first rollout, we're gonna drop the can at the blue, where the blue bags are and put the things, and then I'm sure some people are not gonna put them out that day, and some people are gonna say, I didn't get mine, so I figured the next week we'll be just delivering the rest of them the next week.
It's not gonna happen overnight, it's gonna take a while, just to get them all out.
And also to educate, we're gonna have, and we realize too that there's gonna be some times we're not gonna pick them up because people's got stuff they shouldn't have in them. And also the big issue with these is gonna be, these are not garbage containers. And if you roll that down the street on your regular garbage pickup, we're not picking, you can't pick it up because we just
And
can't.
these are real light, they're not like the garbage containers are a little bit more heavier duty because of the food waste and acid and stuff in them. These are a little lighter, they seem real easy to roll around, so. And they'll be light as long as you put recycling. Now, if you've got 20 boxes of magazines and newspapers, you dump it in there, you can put the 300 pounds of weight in it,
That's where we got
which is
that
no
tip.
problem with the truck picks up, but it will be, you'll hold it out there.
We realize it's gonna take a lot of education also, and we'll just work with that. I got an education outreach grant actually to cover the cost of the tags and the educational part, the advertising, the billboards, the flyers, the newspapers, social media. There's a bunch of different ways we can go about educating people.
And some of y'all may be escrow, will be in there, it's just what it is. On TV and all those things, so it's,
And if we need to recycle, this is personal, Arden Snyder, we need to do different than we're doing, because we're a big recycler. So if we need to do something different, just reach out to me personally, if you will.
I think one thing Amber's gonna do is, but, right now, we've got 4,000 of these, so we're gonna have several hundred extra ones. We're looking at maybe some of the businesses, if they want these, because we have them in all the schools, different places. Also, we might, Carson County will still do the blue bag, but we may look at some of the large subdivisions, that has 20, 30 houses, maybe Enville, maybe Milton, something like that we can go and pick up. We can't haul all over the county picking up, 20, 30 pounds, but we might can do it after we get this going.
We have our volunteer recycle truck that we got on the grant last year, and it has a car chipper on it, so that's all we're looking at doing, subdivisions close to our department out there, so.
But y'all kind of gonna be a EP stuff now. See how it works. In Lexington, I think they're trying to do their whole city heats over, well, what to do with 2,000 cars, how to get them out. That's a lot of cars to put out, so.
Are these gonna have numbers on them that we associate with residents or?
Yeah, they do have, there's a number right there with it, it's most of the car
Okay.
number, that will associate that with the homeowner. Basically, be with the house, and a lot of it has to do with rental property. If this, you don't want the rental taking you with you when they leave, so it's supposed to go with that property, or that address, maybe, I'm not sure how they do
On the
that.
rollout day, we're looking at writing the number down and the address. I have checked on radio frequency identification tags, because these companies on there, I just have to purchase the software, and obviously that would be on a grant, and it's gonna come later on. So-
Basically, what they, if there'll be a scanner on the truck, when this goes up and dumps, it scans that number, and scans the household, it's all in the computer, that
Then you can tell how much each household recycles, and when they put it
you can do
out.
a weight thing. There's a lot of different ways.
So if a printer decided and did take it with them, and you didn't know as a homeowner, you have to buy another one then to replace the one that somebody took, yeah.
Right now, we have a bunch of cards. I got a call yesterday, we got another grant, I just got another 1,000 cards. So right now, we could probably replace the cart, but I would prefer the ringer.
Oh,
Leave the
absolutely.
cart there.
Yeah, but you know.
But we
exactly.
realize that's gonna happen, so, yes.
They say things are good for about 15 years, unless somebody runs over and crushes them.
So we tested that today. They stacked it 12 high and they flipped over and half of them crashed, and when we set them back up, they popped perfectly back in place. So,
Very good.
Amber, what is, y'all doing this, Greg, what is the increase you see, percentage increase, and once the program rolls out, it will increase our people recycling?
so we run the numbers today based on 500 people. I think it was 22%.
Yeah,
The number.
every place of these, every city they've been put out, the recycling was increased at least about 50, that was the minimum, and as much as 75%. And I tried to come up with y'all some real good figures, And I got, I guess it's kind of hard to do it. I couldn't even call the city and figure, nobody can put it because I've got our cost and then Carter's got his pickup cost. But the problem I run into is say 400 households already doing it. If they picked up 100 tons last year there, I think most of those are maybe older or elderly people, so they don't create as much. So if they did 100 and you had the same 400 that had families of 4 or 5, then you may be 500 or 600 tons. So trying to come up with something like that, not knowing, you know, we try to go on the computer and look at, you know, everything in the city, we could not figure it out yet. So it's kind of deceiving. And then last year we hauled 2,300 tons to the landfill, you know, for y'all, which I think was 100-something thousand. But also y'all picked up the commercial. So we tried to pull out, we went back 2 months and tried to do the household. I came up with 1,400 tons, so I'm assuming the rest of it is commercial. So if we pull it back down to 1,400 tons and do what they took last year, it changes the percentage. So it kind of got mind like I didn't want to put all the figures on y'all because I really got screwed up trying to figure it out. You know, and that was on our part. You know, I don't know what y'all's cost is picking it up and hauling it out there. So it is a lot. A lot of them just take their ton, divide it into the budget, and that's what they get. You know, but when you really get down to, you know, every ton right now, I think it's $28 a ton is what y'all its cost is. So for every ton of recycling bring out there, you're going to save $28. So if you can get 50% of the people recycling, you know, it's probably 30,000-40,000 right there, right off the top on our part out there. I don't know, you know, in your case. In your case, you already have the budget in place, you know, for the disposal of the garbage, so, and it costs you to bring it out there, so if you bring in the recycling, you don't have to pay it, so.
We talked to the city of Memphis, they rolled out parks last year, and just from what they've told us, they've seen a 50% increase in recycling. Every county and city that I've talked to that's close to us, said the same thing, so that's what we're hoping for. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
thanks.
Okay. Is there, under delegation, is there anybody else who would like to address the board on any other issue? We have our zoning issues we'll go through here in a minute, but is anybody on any other issue you'd like to address the board on any other issue? Okay. The first item on the agenda is the public hearing. Consider action on proposed ordinance amending the official regional zoning map to rezone a portion of tax parcel 20.02 CC tax map 55 located at the intersection of US Highway 45 South and Old Finger Road from FAR, Forestry Agricultural Residential, to C Commercial. Said property is owned by Mark and Carol Layton. Okay, how we're going to do this, the first part of that is a public hearing. For the public, anybody who would like to address the board, pro or con on this, you can come forward. What we'll do is, once we go through that, we'll close the public hearing, and then the board will discuss it. And I'm sure the board will have questions for people that's affected by this or trying to do this. So, but at this time, we'll open the public hearing. If anybody would like to address the board, please come forward.
Each one of you copy this? Sure. You want to open that up? I think you've got a copy, this is a little bigger. My name's Rex Phillips. Most of you know me. If you look at this map, the property 20.02 is what we're looking at. Now, those black lines, I'll discuss that in a minute, that's not part of it. What I want you to see is 20.01 is my property, surrounded by the 20.02 that you're looking at making commercial. And my mom of 90+ years still lives there. So the main concern that you'll see the other homeowners that may speak up a little bit or around the church here, the graveyard over here. So our concern is a couple of things. One is the effect that it would have on the value of this property, and probably more so the aesthetics of the community.
This is a residential community now. Look at that piece of paper and picture that in a subdivision of houses versus a commercial establishment. And I'm not against a commercial establishment, but I think it'd be much more aesthetically pleasing to the county to have that residential than commercial. So and I'm speaking for others, and I'm not asking, but we'd much rather that stay residential, farmland. But for your consideration, we addressed the zoning board last month, and as an alternative is the black hash marks around this property. And if you drew a line there and kept that residential, it would at least have a barrier and protect to some degree this residential neighborhood right here, and maybe preserve some of the value, and at least not lose some commercial around these houses. And that's about all I'm gonna say. Just give that consideration as you make your decision. And I'm not against business, especially the person that's involved in this. I've bought anything from him, but just concerned about the effect it would have on this particular piece of property.
Are you saying here, where this black line is, if he put a barrier down through there or a wall, would that be acceptable?
Well, it'd be acceptable to me just to not have commercial business right there. I mean, I could put my own trees up there and have my property.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm just asking that.
If a wall could be there, but I'm not asking for a wall. I can make my own wall.
Brent, can you kind of fill us in where the planning commission will rest us down? Because can you fill us in on how, what the board passed?
Yes, sir. The planning commission met March the 6th, and this was discussed. I think some of the residents in the neighborhood were there, and the owners of the property were there, and discussion on both sides. And then I think at the end, the motion was made to rezone this area with a 50-foot buffer from the back of Phillips' property line, kind of headed west, I guess you'd say. A 50-foot buffer basically across that piece of property. And I think your packet kind of has something in there that depicts that. Shows that 50 foot from our back property line, there's a line drawn that bisects that piece of property. And what is facing or fronting on Memory is to remain to FAR. And what fronts on 45 was to be rezoned commercial.
I think, y'all tell me, I think where we're at right now, I think that the city council has three options. If you tell me if I'm right. One option is not to rezone it, leave it as is and do nothing. As is and not do anything. Not take the recommendation. Second is to take the recommendation of the planning commission, which was not unanimous. Be clear about it, it wasn't unanimous. Take the recommendation of the planning commission to have the buffer, or I think they were asking for the whole thing to be zoned, and we put the buffer in. So you really kind of got three options there. Would y'all agree with that?
I think whatever the city board wishes, they could probably vote on.
Go on, but I think that's kind of the option. I think the option is not to rezone it, zone it with a buffer, or zone the whole thing. So really, that's the three options you have. Do you think?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. Let me make one comment on that larger drawing. If you're looking at, I'm not saying Brent's drawing, but those black lines, that's more like a 120 foot barrier. The black lines that you see
So,
on my drawing.
I understand correctly, too, that the board has the right to change the buffer, too. You're absolutely right. The board has the right, if they choose to change. If they decide the buffer, they can change the buffer if they choose to.
No, I don't want to, I think from a legal standpoint, the proposal was presented from the planning commission in the form it's in. If the city council wants to look at something different, I think that's go back to the planning commission for another recommendation. Now, they may not have to approve it, it still comes back to you anyway, but it will postpone action if this is changed either way, either rezoning the whole thing or making it the buffer bigger. It will have to go back to the planning commission to be heard again before it comes back.
If the board chooses not to, which we've done in the past, that
Chooses not to pass it?
Yeah, just choose not to take a, that just ends the whole thing.
Yeah, I think the board tonight has only two choices. Pass it as it's presented, or if it's not voted, pass it as presented. It's, I think, the two choices tonight. Now, options could go back to the planning commission and come with another recommendation.
Okay, just let me mention, and I'll let them speak for themselves, if there were other concerns voiced at the meeting, one, runoff, erosion caused by having a solid gravel lot up there, and the graveyard on the other side of the highway being mentioned, and maybe the other. I'll sit down, and,
Anybody, like I say, anybody here that wants to speak, I want to make sure anybody here wants to speak, please come up and speak.
Members of the council, my name is Wayne Williams. I live at 600 Memory Lane. I am the northern neighbor of the property in question on this map. You can see part of my property. If you hold it like this vertically, mine is on the right-hand side. You can see my barn with the green metal roof and my house right there. But I don't want you to think that the Phillips property is the property most affected by this proposed zoning change. Looking at this map, you probably would think so if you just look at the map. But I would hope that this board, I'm speaking in opposition to the plan. I would like you to vote no for it. And my reasoning is this. First of all, as Mr. Phillips mentioned, is a loss in property value. A good friend of mine who's been in the real estate business for a long, long time told me that if this is passed, immediately when it's passed, the surrounding properties will suffer an immediate decline in property value. He gave an estimate of anywhere from 10 to 20%. He also said that as time goes on, as the years go on, that these properties would also continue to suffer a decline in property value because many, if not most of these properties, as they mature and get older, become more and more of an eyesore. And if you don't believe this, you can take a 10-minute short drive down 45 South, and when you hit the McNair and Chester County line, immediately look on your left, and there's several businesses involved in this selling of used equipment on the left for half a mile from the county line to Finger Road. And I don't think any of you would want any of those businesses as your next door neighbor, like this would be my next door neighbor. As far as my property is concerned, particularly, I think my property will be affected most by this change. Not only because of the loss in property value, which, like I said, all the properties surrounding it will be involved in that. But, as you've probably heard before, all roads lead to Rome. Well, all of the ditches on this property in question leads to my property. A ditch that runs through the middle of my property. And not only all of the water from the property in question, but also water runoff from the property on the south side of Old Finger Road. There are at least 3 culverts that run under Old Finger Road that water from, I believe it's the Bean property that flows onto the property in question. All of it eventually ends on my property. I've heard rumors that the property in question failed the perk test. That tells you right there that there's a problem with water runoff, water absorption. It's not absorbing through to the subtable, and it quickly runs off. Well, as this property is, with the grass and topsoil on it, it's still too much for my little ditch that runs through the middle of my pastures, to a 30-inch culvert that runs under Memory Lane. It often gets out of its banks into my pastures after a heavy rainfall. In 2010, when we had big flood. Water ankle deep came within 30 feet of my house and barn. My concern is that if this plan is approved by the planning commission, this modified plan, if those approximately 9 acres are turned into a limestone parking lot, they're gonna come in here and they're gonna remove the topsoil and grass, bring truckloads of limestone in there and convert it into a parking lot for use of equipment. But if we have another event, like 2010, my house is gonna get flooded. Now, we moved down here from Nashville. We sold a house in Bellevue in a subdivision, not far from Harpeth River, approximately a year before the flood. My wife was concerned with the possibility that the Harpeth may flood, get up into our house. I said, no, everybody we talked to, there's no way. Because the developer had built it up and all of that. We've had city officials tell us, there's no way the water's gonna get up here. Well, almost a year after we moved down here, there was 6 feet of water in the house that we sold that was not in a flood zone. So I'm very concerned about the storm water runoff right now, but it's okay now, because what we had in 2010 was a 100 or 200 year flood, but that could happen again. And if it's turned into a limestone parking lot, the runoff is going to be quicker and more volume. So I would ask you to please vote no for this change and help those of us that would suffer from it. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is anyone else like to address the board?
I'm not a speaker, this isn't gonna take long. I'm an old man, I own property out there, I need to serve about the property, I'll be long dead gone. In the cemetery across the road, everybody's got relatives, friends, family. That still doesn't look very good for somebody to go to a funeral, and they can call it what they want to, I call it a junkyard, right across the road from it.
Anyone else like to address the board?
My name's Larry Lambert, and we do own property east of 2102. And to me, I love Chilton County, we wouldn't move here, we live in Jackson. Take a stroll down the south side of town. Do you really want our side of that town to look like that? The county? I'm talking about, we've got businesses, and they look, and I'm not anti-business, and they look good. J.B. Small Entrance, his place looks good. If you're coming off Memory Lane, going down, there on next to him, between them, the same type of business is on the left. Looks okay there. Go south, drive north, and take a look at what happened to it. Then look across the road into the wetlands and see what's dumped over there. I'm just saying, I just don't think that this looks good for Chester County and that many. Maybe this business should be somewhere where it's appropriate, like, in the country, where the farmers, that's what he's catered to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anyone else would like to address the board?
I'm sorry, I'm Mark Webber, I'm sorry, I've read all of it, I'm sorry about all the confusion that we caused with this little real estate, but I think where our main problem is right now, as you said at the beginning, we were asking to be brought into the city for commercial. Don't remember us doing that. We just want a commercial property, we don't know what it's gonna take to do it in the county versus the city, but we don't want the city out there if they don't want to come out there, that's fine. We don't need the city to have commercial property, do we, in the county?
Well, really, the problem is our zoning region started since the 60s. I mean, none of us there had anything to do. And that's that zoning region, which we still do. If the county had zoning, zoning, we would be out of it. And, but we still have that urban growth, we call it, what's it called, the zoning region or urban growth area? Planning region, the planning region, we call it the planning region.
So y'all can go out anywhere in the county?
No, it's only that area, it's only that area we have, it's kind of like 5 miles out.
That's what I was saying.
And it started back in the sixties.
That's right.
And we've had it ever since, and we do the subdivisions all the way out into, all the way out to Frogs and all back in that area. We go all the way to Magic Valley, we go all the way to the church, to Essex Church, that way, and then how far we go, we go west. Wayne Harris Road, we go to Wayne Harris. That's our area that we have to do that. Planning Commission has to hear it, and the city council has to do it. If some counties have zoning, if the county has zoning, they can do it. If the city, the cities has to, we do it until the county decides they want to do something.
So if whatever y'all decide, and we go with this, and y'all say, okay, we're gonna let you have half of it for commercial and half of it residential, how would we do the taxes? Taxes still going to the county's taxes?
Yeah, we don't get any, the city gets no taxes on that.
See?
We get nothing off of it.
Okay, I'm
We don't get it, Jim, I think, Jim, I'm gonna let you explain the planning region, because you've done it several times. I kinda let you know how it works,
The planning region?
how our planning region works.
Well, back in the sixties, the city and county got together and there was a basic line drawn on a map that mutually got agreed to that would give the city of Henderson regional planning authority in a certain area of the county. And that map line has been changed very little since the 1960s. I think there was one little small area out on 200 in the floodplain that got moved a few years ago. But other than that, that's the only change that's happened to that line since it was adopted. So the city does have zoning authority. As such, it's sort of like the city zoning, but it's a different set of regulations. Different things are uses permitted, there's different requirements, lot sizes, etc., that do apply in the region. It's not the same zoning that's in the city. It's a totally separate document. The same board, the planning commission, makes recommendations concerning the regulations and also the zones of different properties. Most of the properties in the county have been changed very little through the years, but we have adopted and changed from some FAR zones to residential, also some FAR residential to commercial properties through the years. Down south, Brent, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know of any property south of town other than the property right there next to River Lane that's been rezoned in the last 30 years. We have rezoned some commercial properties on 100 East, out around Bill Mitchell's and some of those areas out on the coast of Frogs. Some of that property has got rezoned commercial. But it does happen, and it's normally on the major thoroughfares. Of course, this is on 45, and that's the reason this one, the process is the same for city zoning as it is in the county. You bring a request to the planning commission, they make a recommendation, and they have made a recommendation to recommend this. It was not unanimous, but they did recommend it. Then it comes to the city board. The city board is required to have notice and a public hearing, which we're having tonight. This is the whole purpose of this meeting, is a public hearing. So people get to speak their mind. If y'all have got the hard job of making a decision, do you approve the planning commission's recommendation, or do you not? That's really up to y'all. And each individual case is unique.
And like I say, that's kind of the where it's at, and like I say, some counties across the state choose not to do zoning. And it's letting the county, if the county choose to do zoning, they could put it back and say, you take care of this inside the city limits, we'll take outside the county.
Right.
But they have not done that, and we have done it since the sixties, and
If the county did adopt countywide zoning, they would have a planning commission. They would be in the same process. The only difference is their planning commission would make a recommendation, then it would go to the county commission. So the request is the same. It's just the board making the decision is different. Is the only difference.
Okay. So, I guess now we just have to talk about the buffer, or, talk about that once you said it.
no, it's up.
I mean-
The buffer, the reason was, the
Yeah.
recommendation from my,
Yeah.
Brent go to meeting, the recommendation was, the buffer was put in place, and I think at the suggestion of Mr. Phillips.
Yeah, that's right.
And we looked at it, and my problem with it was how his property jetted back toward into that property. I think I said that night. And without the buffer, I wouldn't have voted for it. Some of the aldermen did, Alderman Ferris voted against it. He had problems with it. One thing you said that kind of bothered me at the end was that you'd come back to you said that you'd come back to the board if you need that property to ask it to rezone that, take it back to zone business. And, that kind of, because mine was a compromise that Mr. Phillips had to do the buffer. That
But I was talking about if I ever bought his mama's house, I said if I bought the next property over.
Okay.
And that's.
That was concerning me, that we were kind of doing the buffer, and then we.
But what can I do with the buffer land?
Build a house on one part of it.
So, but.
I'm being serious, what can I do with it?
Sell it.
I'm coming to y'all because y'all are here. So y'all pool your money together and I'll show you the whole thing. I don't have to have it, I promise that. We can end all this tonight. Well, not even worry then, if y'all want to buy it. I promise I'll sell it. And I promise if it wasn't for your mom, I'd do some other stuff too. But that's okay too, but I don't know what else to do with that property there.
I got
Because
Where would the driveway be? Would it be on Old Finger Road, or would it be on the highway?
I can get it either place.
And where you gonna do all the gravel coming out and on the road? You gonna clean that up every time you put it on? And then we're gonna have cracked windshields and everything else.
I'm sorry.
We're still in the public hearing. This is we're in the public hearing.
The buffer zone to me sort of helps half of the concerns, not all the concerns, but I can't say that you wouldn't have room compared to where you're at now. I mean, you got twice as much room there,
And I don't know that I would ever need, I don't know that I'd ever need that buffer lane, but if somebody else wanted to buy the property, I ain't saying I wanna keep it forever either. The real estate, and I don't personally know how that would affect it, and that's what I'm asking, is how that would affect it. That's what I need to know, but
I'm still going back, why do you want our county to look that way, all the way from the city limits to the Montgomery County line, and then pass? I'm not being mean, it's just, think about it, y'all. Our county is,
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's just
We're trying to bring growth to Chester County, but if it ain't meant to be, it ain't meant to be.
Well, y'all like to live across the road, brother?
I mean, maybe you should have picked a better spot at least.
There were no restrictions when we bought it. They said nothing to us about it not ever being able to be commercial. We purchased this thinking that we were gonna need a bigger lot and that we were gonna get it and there wouldn't be a problem. We didn't know that it was gonna cause this and we were looking at some of the nicest buildings we could find to make it beautiful, and not look bad, but it seems like no matter how much we try to work at it and work with them with the buffer, it just seems like that's still not enough. But I mean, if we get into figures, we're giving all this revenue to McNairy County. Our residents is in Chester County. We wanted our business here. I mean, we over the last 2 years in sales tax, we collected $59,000. I mean, we wanted that to go to Chester County. I know it's not the whole amount, but it's still revenue for Chester County.
We have 10 employees, 12 employees.
12 employees, we try to, he said about the gravel. We have a gravel now. We don't have gravel on the road. Gravel doesn't get on 45 where we're at now. But we can't argue with him because we can't go out there and look. We just have to take his word versus our word. There's dust right there in the curve, but no, there's not many windshields busted where we're at now. And the neighbors where we're at now doesn't seem to mind. We're all friendly with all of them.
May I ask that, Joyce and John Charles Smith, if you know that they were there, she closed, when they put that stuff in there, she closed her window, her blinds, and she died with her blinds closed. She said, if I could get out here, I would. And if you really want, if you want to know, I can take you to the person that knows it.
Does any
property back. The Lamberts here live right across the street from them. It's gonna still affect their property back. So that's not the solution, and it does nothing on my property, nothing at all. And mine is what, that's the most adversely affected out here.
Let's say one last comment. To make this non-personal, your decision, making it commercial or residential or farmland, I mean, you're deciding, let's say, to be commercial. I mean, who's deciding to make it commercial? He don't do anything that he resells it, so you can't guarantee what's gonna happen now or 5, 10 years from now. So you're making a broader decision than these personal things we've been talking about.
That's why we have this procedure we're going through tonight.
Right.
We would go through that again, if the land was sold and the new owner came in and wanted to put something, a new type business, and neighbors objected to that, it would be here.
Well, not really, once we zone commercial, it's done. They can come in and put whatever they want to in there, we have no control. So that's just like we're making a broad decision, just like Greg said, that's why we need to take this seriously. Because once we make it commercial, they can put a hog slaughter farm in there. So I'm just being honest with you.
And along those lines, once the land is rezoned commercial, if Mr. Latham at some point down the line decides to get out of the business and sells that property, the new owner, since it's already zoned commercial, can come in, like you say, and put anything in there. So once it's zoned commercial,
It's over.
partly, we lose control of what can go on that property.
I have a question. This is for Jim or
At this time, if nobody else has anything, I'm gonna close public comment. This time I'll read, we're going to consider passing ordinance to rezone. At this time, I'll turn it over to the auditor if they have any questions or any statements they'd like to make.
I just have a question concerning, I heard the term spot zoning.
Yes.
And to me, I'm just trying to, I know this is next to the highway and that may avoid that issue, but it seems like this is the only piece of property that would be commercial and what's evidently residential.
Yeah.
How does this avoid being called spot zoning?
Well, normally spot zoning comes into play. Spot zoning, number one, is a questionable term. It's sort of like the world. You know, what is spot zoning? Is normally defined as something that is inherently small and it's in an area that is nothing around it, is surrounded by other type uses and other type zoning. And this property being the acreage that it is, Brent, correct me if I'm wrong, the planner did not call this a spot zoning situation. You know, it'd be different if this was a 1 acre plot. But because we're looking at, I think approximately 8, 9 acres roughly that's going to be rezoned, it is not really considered a spot zoning. But as I said, spot zoning is not a clear term that you can actually define very clearly. So you could look at it both ways, is what I'm telling you.
I don't think the planner ever got that far in planning.
You were there.
I don't-
I don't think he made the notes of it in his notes that he had ever did. So it's been a spot zoning situation.
So that would be the only spot of land out there that would be commercial.
That is the
The rest
only
of it
spot of
will still
land
be- will still
that,
be-
other than the tract of land that's next to Memory Lane. That would be the closest point of business property, commercial property to this one would be the area by, right next to Memory Lane, which is the farm equipment, gates and trailers and that kind of thing, right next to JV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is in the county. JV's in the city, that next place is in the county. That is rezoned commercial, but that is probably the closest commercial zone to this piece of property. And I don't know, there's several residential houses between.
But since it would be next to J and B, that would not be spot.
That was the decision. burned to the ground years ago, a commercial property could not go in there until they came to the city, the planning commission and to the city board, and it was rezoned. Brent, how many years ago was that done?
Two or 3 years ago.
And I think the question came up to that, if that was gonna be, asked them to come into the city and we rezoned them, and I think the utility department was not able to furnish sewer, and that was one of the reasons we didn't ask them to come into the city. Any other board member have any questions or anything else they wanna? I'll entertain a motion where the board wants to go.
I make a motion that we leave it as farm agricultural.
Second.
Have a motion to leave it as farm agricultural and I have a second by Alderman Ferris. Do I have any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of leaving it as is, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, signify by no. Motion carries. Thank y'all. Next item on the agenda is item E, consider action on proposed ordinance amending official rezoning map to rezone a portion of tax parcel 1300 CC tax map 34 located east side of Trice Road as FAR Forestry Agricultural 2 residential. Said property is owned by Tim and Tommy Culver. At this time, I'll open up a public hearing. To anybody pro or con on this one? Okay, at this time, I'll close the public hearing. Anybody else?
You're just like that.
At this time, we'll consider that passage ordinance. Brent, will you go over that for everybody?
Yes, sir. At the same meeting, we had a proposal to rezone an area on Trice Road by the Culvers. Their plan was to go from FAR, which is forestry, agricultural, and residential, to a R, which is a regional residential, and it allows smaller lot sizes if the septic will perk. When you're dealing with anything in the region, it's all gonna be based on the lot size and how much acreage it'll take to get a septic system. So, this motion was made, at the planning commission, and it was, everybody voted in favor to approve this as is.
But you said 1 acre, right?
No, ma'am. FAR is a 1 acre minimum lot size. If you have to have mower for your septic system, then we have heard of, they have to get to 5 acres out in Montezuma, Deanburg, where the soils are not, as good.
Right.
In a R, a regional residential, it can go down to basically a half acre, 20,000 feet, if the septic will perk to that. I don't know what lot sizes they're looking at. We were told somewhere around 3/4 of an acre if it would perk to that.
So we don't have any idea about it.
Right now, we don't make them zone the property. We gotta get it zoned appropriately before they do a subdivision. What they will do is they'll go out and do soil mapping or testing to see what lot sizes that they can get based on the septic.
So we're not deciding anything other than rezoning.
It will be rezoning, but it will allow you to go to a half acre lot if that will hurt for that.
That's not the thing I don't like, is that half acre lot, rezoning fine for the half acre.
How big a lot, this one, how many acres is this?
26
acres. How many houses could you put in there?
Well, it's an acre lot, you get 20 something, you know,
So this one is, on the price is 20 acres?
26 or 7.
26 point something.
Okay.
So if you take and cut out everything on the road frontage and acreage for a 50-foot road, then whatever you had left, if you had 20 acres and you got them to 3/4 or a half acre, you could say you could be in the 30 range.
I just couldn't, I'm sure that 26 acres was somewhere in here, I just wasn't seeing.
I don't know if it's on your stuff or if it's on something that we had.
Of course, lot sizes are
Yes.
controlled by septic and by wells. In this area, there's no public water, there's no public septic. So, we are seeing, I think the smaller lots we're seeing with those two things having controlled a lot about 3/4 of an acre.
That all though.
But there's no guarantee they can go
It's
down that.
gonna go down to.
Yeah, it like to be the best soil in the world. You do have to keep your well so many feet from your field tile lines, et cetera, so, then you got a place for your house.
What's there, what's the, out in that area, we got several subdivisions out there. What is the average, what's the average, the size of those lots out there? Because there's several subdivisions out there.
Right off the top of my head, I'd hate to say, I'm gonna say an acre or less. Some of them probably, I don't know what an average would be. Some of them are bigger lots, some of them are smaller. But I'm gonna say, so some of the, Ollie Lane or Guy McAdams, they're about 1.3
acres, where I'm at. About 1.3 acres.
Nick Bridges subdivision's about, some of them 2 or 3 acres.
But also, this property that Gary mentioned and Dickey's property where that subdivision is, all those are zoned regional residential, along with Valley View and, the newest that Zach Hannis did, the extension.
Yeah,
into
Ridgecrest.
Ridgecrest.
Yeah.
All of those are zoned regional residential.
Some of them's got big old lots.
And the reason that we tried to do that as far as the residential side of it, it's more like a subdivision in the region, if that makes sense. It's probably the most dense development that we could have in the region.
So you're saying this zoning would be different than that?
No, it would meet.
It's that same standard of what they're,
Of what
for
they're.
comparison, okay.
Correct. But like I said, I don't know what they ultimately do. They don't have to make the least lot size that will hurt. It's kind of their determination of, what type of lots would make the most money or best development.
Well, half acre or quarter acre lots would make most money.
Sometimes you think so, but, the amount of, you can't, it's harder to sell a $300,000 house on a half acre
Oh, sure.
than it would be acre and a half.
Well, do you have any idea, like, what's their square footage of the homes they plan to build?
I just know what they told, and
What
they
they
said
told.
it would be comparable to what is in that area out there.
Brent, is this only land that they own there, or is any of this other surrounding land that's not developed belongs to the colony too?
No, sir, not at this location that I'm aware of.
This is Dr. Guy's.
That's part of a portion of his property, or that
They're
part.
leaving the old house place on the,
That side, they don't own it.
oh, they didn't buy that.
No, sir.
Someone else bought that, somebody, Rick Harvey's got that one.
acre, can we tell them that they can't if it meets our regulations? If it's rezoned, then they will be able to do what, just like if it's an acre. But if the developer wants a larger lot, he can exceed that half acre, make it 3/4 or 1 acre.
But I mean,
Y'all make pay for what you're gonna do.
it'll be at least half acre.
It'll be half pay for a bigger song, you know.
Because that's the
I'd
house.
say most of them probably about
So we do that.
I can't guarantee that, but I figure they could have 3/4 of that, maybe a little bit.
Did he say what the square footage the house
I don't think he did. I think he's, like I said, this is all speculation. I hate to say what somebody else said,
was?
because
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know.
somebody else.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
But if he says not to be comfortable to what's already.
That's all we can do. We
Yeah,
don't
that's,
dictate what's up.
There is other zoning conflict, I mean, the same, they're asking for something that's already given in that area.
It is, and this property borders it at a point up there.
Yeah.
And it comes
I rode down there and looked at it.
There's a map on E4 that's color coded that shows you, the FAR versus the R properties in that immediate area. And as you see, that border at one corner owns the R property, so it does border it, except at just one point.
Yeah.
But that's because everything surrounding it is still a larger farm, still part of the farm that gets sold. And they have to decide what to do there.
Here first, we close public hearing, when we get that.
Oh, yeah.
I make a motion to approve the farm.
Have make a motion to approve the rezoning, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion on it? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All,
It's ordinance.
oh, so order, I apologize, you're right.
Alderman Phelps.
Yes.
Alderman Barber.
Yes.
Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Butler.
Yes.
Alderman Ferris.
Yes.
Alderman Manis.
Yes.
All voted in favor.
All in favor, I can entertain a motion on the second reading.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second, roll call vote.
Mr. Phelps.
Yes.
Mr. Barber.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Butler.
Yes.
Mr. Ferris.
Yes.
Mr. Manis.
Yes.
All voted in favor.
Okay, the motion, the ordinance is passed. Next item is item F, discuss, consider consultant selection policy for projects funded by the Federal Highway Administration of Tennessee Department of Transportation. Jim?
Something new to me, evidently now the TDOT and the federal government have decided we need a way to evaluate our consultants before we select them, AKA engineers, on our projects. This is part of the multimodal grant, is where this one's coming from. And evidently, it takes 21 pages worth of instructions on telling us how to hire consultants and select from the ones that submit proposals to us. I hope you read through every word of that, because I didn't. I scanned a lot of it. I think it's one of those things that really we don't have a choice. I don't like that when the state and federal government does that to us, but it's sort of one of those things you don't have a choice. We're going to proceed with the multimodal, we do have to adopt this policy. And we'll have to go through this evaluation process. Once we get to the point where we can actually select an engineer on the project. So,
I'll make a motion to approve. That's how it goes, so
Yeah. Make a motion to approve the policy, do I have a second? Second. Jim, what's the policy side? Jim, policy side, the policy on the item.
no, we're good.
Any discussion on the approval of the policy? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. All opposed, signify by no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, discuss and consider approving the purchase of pickup truck on state contract with the utility department. Darrell?
We had budgeted in the capital, line item for transportation equipment. We had monies budgeted for 2 trucks and the dump, I think it was the service truck that we got. Out of the purchases we've made so far, we've got a balance in that line item of $35,985. I'm gonna go out to the, on the state contract and get another pickup truck for using the utility department for, the not exceeding the budgeted amount.
Well, the budget, he needs a truck.
a motion to
Let Darrell
authorize.
go ahead and buy his truck.
Have a motion to be able to purchase the truck on state contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. All opposed signify by no. Motion carried. Next item, discuss, consider approving the purchase of new GPS equipment. Brent?
Yes, I gave y'all a sheet, laying by your seat there somewhere. We have got to a point where we need another, GPS reader, basically, for, something to go out and shoot these pokes. We got this from Duncan Parnell, it's a quote. You can see what the, quotes are there for this piece of equipment. Basically, what we're gonna try to do is your first three line items there and number 7, try to add them together and get that in this budget year. We purchased the one that we have now in 2009, 6/19 of 2009. So it's 10 years old, and at that time, the price of it was $5,695. So now the new one that we're purchasing 10 years later is $5,795. So I just thought that was kind of a unique part of this whole equation. But we're gonna purchase the remaining, I guess, on-site training, the other $3,500 in the next budget year after we get this and look at it. We're also looking at getting a tablet, something similar to what the police department. Because right now, this is the tablet that the building department has.
I want that. Lines and everything. I gave you for the lines.
It's in your budget, right?
As far as we know, yes.
It is in the GIS budget.
Okay. I make a motion that he goes and buys him a new tablet.
I'm gonna give that to my best man.
And all this equipment, $6,181.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by no. Motion carried. Other business, Jim, the industrial site, we got Jim,
Okay.
and then also our city attorney is here, so we'll
Yeah, please tell us, we're gonna bring you up to speed a little bit. We're still a little premature to bring you all the details, so next month, we'll be bringing back more details. You know that we received the site development grant for the industrial park. We did get permission to sort of change our scope a little bit and create a 10-acre site. We are sort of on a fast track trying to get the project moving forward because we do have a potential industry that may be interested in locating on that site as soon as we get it done. So, a lot of pieces are moving, there's a lot of moving parts to this, as you probably are aware. So, I just want to bring you up to speed is, for this all to happen, there will be some type of agreement that we'll need to sign, that y'all need to approve next month, giving us some authority and, to negotiate a pilot with this company, which is the standard thing, to be able to provide them the site, with 15 acres. We're grading 10, there'll be a total about approximately 15 acres total in the site, only 10 will be graded. Then we also will be pretty much authorizing, they'll be committing to locating there too. So this will be sort of a two-way agreement, that we'll be entering into with this, and the mayor and Jerry will be working out the details. There's discussion about the pilot, there's discussion about taxes and bonds, there's a lot of things going on with this, that sort of gonna have to happen in a short time. So, we'll be back next month. We may or may not, correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, have bids for the grading work as early as maybe.
And what, if we do not, I'll ask the board to do is recess and come back so we have a chance to open the bid and bring back. Because once we open those bids, that might change the whole thing, we start looking at bids. Y'all don't have bids yet. So we're not, none of us really want to commit to anything until we see these bids come back and see where we're at there. So that's kind of the reason we're putting this off until after the bids go up before we start negotiating with them, until these bids come in so we know what price we got.
the company cannot take ownership even if they wanted to actually we close out the site development. So, as I said, different pieces are moving, but nothing, but we've got to take some steps. Jerry, do you want to add anything?
What you'll eventually see out of me is an option agreement. Because we perceived that we had all these concepts going on. It might be good to get that all where you can visualize in one document where that roadmap would take you over the course of time. First step, as I understand it though, is to get the process to get access to the grant money, and get your grading done, because before that happens, you can't get the grant money if you get the work done, and you have to own the property, and then once that's done, then you can transfer it. Off you go with what would be an industrial development project.
And preliminary numbers are, $10 to $12 million investment, 30,000 square foot building, and 50 new jobs.
The other thing is, at this point, the industry wants to remain anonymous. We've been referring to this company.
Are there any questions right now? We did want to make you aware of it. We understand there's something working, and we will be bringing more details next month, probably for something for y'all to approve.
You have anything? Brent?
No, sir.
Darryl?
Got two items, we just completed the comprehensive annual gas inspection. I noted on the, inspection report that no violations were identified during the inspection. The inspector spent a week here looking at various aspects of the operations of their, gas, our training of employees, O&Q program. Of course, they always look at the drug testing and those aspects of it, and then they go out in the field and do quite a bit of inspection of items in the field to make sure that what they find in the field lines up with what our reports when we go out on our field and we're supposed to be doing inspection and maintenance actually line up and agree with each other. And so, did get a really good report from Tennessee Public Utility Commission. And then the other item I wanted to talk about was, as you noticed there, we had at least 6 boring rigs running on any given day for several weeks everywhere. We've had a lot of complaints about the way things were left in yards and things like that. Had one individual just give me down the road because he thought it was my fault. Explained to him that it was a contractor for the phone company. He said, yeah, but they got utility work ahead, so I was out. But we did have a number. The biggest problem we had was at the corner of North and White Avenue. They hit that line where it went in the casing going on the road, split it under state highway there. We had to do quite a bit of excavation to pull that pipe out, put another piece of pipe in, cut out valves, cut in, pieces of equipment, things like that. And
fix the drainage down by, Franklin Street, the concrete drainage down there. And also, he said, before the pavement come back through it, then they did, they down fix the side streets, so. Yeah.
I want to remind the board of the budget meeting Tuesday night, the 16th, which is this coming Tuesday at 5 o'clock, is my understanding of the time everybody sort of agreed to. Is that correct? So at 5 o'clock, downstairs, budget meeting.
No, sir. But, yes, sir.
One quick thing, it seems, I know we were looking at the traffic light at White and Main, about the timing on it. If somebody had cut the,
They cut that, when they started doing some preliminary work on the renovation of Old Main, and that had not been fixed, knowing we had to cut back into that area, to put this sprinkler line connection in. And so it didn't make any sense to have it repaired and then turn around and us have, we would have damaged it again. So, they're obligated to fix it, and now that we're out of the way on the sprinkler line, they'll be able to fix that back.
that's all I need.
Nothing.
I got an email today about Crooked North, the crosswalk, is there a crosswalk in the Crooked North, they were really up there where it's painted in the streets? No, in that neighborhood, is there any crosswalks in the street up there? I don't know, anyway, they were complaining about the traffic up there, and I don't think they're not speeding, about when their kids walking across through there, they're not stopping.
Crooked North don't intersect.
Right there.
The Crooked, it's in that neighborhood somewhere, and they've been on Crooked North,
We have stop bars at the four-way stops, and I have noticed that they probably need another coat of paint.
okay, that may be.
But there
probably what they're talking
But there is no crosswalk.
I didn't think, I think that's probably what you're talking about.
Yeah, and there's the white thing that you put down, the stop thing, I've noticed that they fade out really quick because we're painting. When you do a heat wave, they stay.
I mean, in that pure neighborhood up there, but I was going to print the email off, and I forgot what I give you to, maybe between cars and everybody, when you figure out what's going on. All right, thank you.
I got an email this afternoon, I kinda like to read it. Public Works and Police Department, sometimes it seems like they get hammered pretty good and everything else, but I got an email today from Stuart Brackett, he is the Campus Safety and Security, their director. He said, I want to send a message of sincere gratitude to Henderson Police Department and Henderson Public Works Department. We had experienced vehicles driving through stop signs and patrol the intersection of Hamlet Street and East University Street. I called Assistant Chief Jim Crow to explain the situation. He very quickly assigned resources and enforcement began immediately. I then called Public Works Director Carter Scales and explained the same situation to him. I asked if he would be possible to have the white lines painted on the roadway with stop signs patrolling the intersection of Hamlet Street and University and Casey Street and East University. Within hours, the job was completed. As you know, I came from a very large community and I proudly served for 25 years. With such a large community, several hundred thousand, we also had a considerable number of resources at hand to address various issues, but it was rare that we could muster those services as quickly and responsive to those two fronts as the fine personnel you work for the city of Henderson did. Not only did we get the job done quickly, but it also was evident that genuine care for the community and its residents within them. Thank you for creating an environment solely of loving community where the city maintains kind individuals who are not only care about their community, but are also providing the resources to get the job done quickly and efficiently. Signed, Stuart Brackett. Like I say, guys, thank you. If we don't, it's been this day and time to get hammered, I appreciate it. We get one of those. That's what I said. I got you this afternoon, I used to send them out, so I thought I'd read it to y'all tonight. Does anybody else have anything else they want to bring to the board? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.